Alright, we're getting ready to start. Welcome to the Off Air Podcast. I'm your main host, Kyle, along with my thought-to-be-dead gaming co-host, Andrew.
Hello.
I was telling everyone you were dead.
That the rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
Yes. How you been?
Busy. I've been very busy.
You live a life.
I have, in fact, a life that I live. That is accurate.
Yeah. So, I talked you into coming out of your, we'll say, retirement.
I was living the lap of luxury. I was on a hammock overseeing a lake, had my fishing pole in my hand, just cast out. Then Kyle burst into the scene screaming, "Come and talk to me about Signalis."
Yes. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Signalis.
What? No.
Shut up. Here we go. You're going to start this.
What is it?
Signalis is what would you call this as far as like the game view? Would you say it's isometric?
It's an isometric survival horror game.
Yes, very much isometric survival horror. That came out in October 2022.
I played it when it hit Game Pass, and I don't remember when that was. So I'm gonna look that up.
I think it hit Game Pass exactly on October.
Oh wow! It was in fact in October.
Yes.
Yeah, that's okay.
It was released on Game Pass same day for Steam.
Okay.
So, it is set in a futuristic setting where humanity is pretty much gone, and there's still humans, but there's far less of them, and they've developed cyborgs that resemble humans quite a bit.
Replicas are a little bit different than that.
They're robots. Okay. They're robots.
No, they have a human brain.
Oh, they have a human brain?
Yes, they do.
Okay. So they would be cyborgs.
They are. So the game, there's some lore stuff. I've refreshed my memory, but there's some weird lore stuff where like they don't quite understand how replicas work. Like it's like it's a lab-grown brain, and they clone someone's neural imagery onto the brain, but they don't really know how it works.
Yeah,
which I think is it's part of like the hand wave. They don't really want to get into the hard sci-fi for it, but Cyborg, I would argue Cyborg is a biological organism that has had cybernetic enhancements. This is like I guess you could call it cybernetic, but it's really just a meaty brain with a artificial body around it.
Yeah.
And the brain's artificial too. Just not robotic, it's meat.
Yeah, so kinda almost like the robots from Blade Runner.
Did they have flesh brains? The androids from Blade Runner?
I don't quite remember, but I was just using that as like a pseudo example, I guess.
Are you sure it's not a quasi example?
Yeah, I'll do quasi. That feels more comfortable.
So when a human being has a replica, it makes just a gestalt, which is a replica human. The gestalt is actually the human. That's where the consciousness comes from. Yes. So the humans become gestalts, which have a synchronicity with their replicas. It's weird, and it's just a reason to cause the link between Elster and Ariana.
Yes. So I love the story. It starts out, you wake up in a pod. You found out your ship crashed. You get out of your ship after looking for Ariana. You can't find her, so you leave the ship. And then you scour the planet for like, I'd say about 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm. You walk through some weird gates.
Yep. Then you walk down to a scary hole, and then you climb through a even smaller hole, and then you're in an office.
And on the desk in front of you is a copy of The King in Yellow.
Yes.
Which,
The King in Yellow.
if you have any passing information regarding the Cthulhu mythos from like the 20s and 30s, you know immediately what the King in Yellow is and what it kind of pretends. But doesn't it also flash like an H.P. Lovecraft quote on the screen?
Yes, and
Like,
it
what's the quote? It's here you go. Great holes secretly are digged where earth's pores ought to suffice, and things have learnt to walk that ought to crawl.
yes.
Yeah, it flashes out on the screen. And you know what? After having played through the game, I get the great holes part. The the things I've learned to walk that ought to crawl, that one I'm not clear on.
It's talking about human beings
I guess it's talking about
because
human
compared to
beings.
the ancient ones, they're lesser, so they should always be crawling underneath them. But they try to walk and have the delusions of being equal to anything
I
else.
guess. I mean, that's really the only. There's no like aliens or anything.
Yeah,
So
let me get real meta about it.
like yeah, it's got to refer to humanity. It really has, or it's referring to machines like replicas.
Yeah.
I mean, the great holes secretly are digged. That's very clear. It's the mines. Also, isn't the planet called Lang?
Yes, I think it is.
Lang is the creepy dream plateau from H.P. Lovecraft, where like cannibal, evil spider people live. So like, as soon they're really queuing up the fictional references right off the bat.
Yes. And
Also, I appreciate the ship is named the Penrose, and if you have, do you understand the significance of that name, Kyle?
a little bit, not like in depth, but I know it had a greater meaning.
So Roger Penrose was a very oh, he might actually still be alive. I shouldn't use that in past tense. Roger Penrose is one of the preeminent theoretical physicists in existence. Him and Stephen Hawking were I don't know if they were like buddies, but they were at least people that knew each other and conversed. Roger Penrose theorized a lot of very out there physics theories, and I'm pretty sure they named the ship that to kind of give you an in that there's something weird going on with that ship, like it broke time or reality or something like that.
Yes. Okay.
Which I mean, it did. If you,
Yes.
as you continue on.
Yes. So it starts out with that, and then it has a nice. I don't know. Remember what the song's called? I had it there when I first played it. It's just it's in a lot of gaming media, and whenever they try to use dramatic piano playing, it's a very popular song for that.
Oh, it's the is it the song from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
No, shut up.
That's
So,
public domain.
but yes. So your main character Elster, after you go through the main opening, she finds herself on this station.
Serpinski 23 mining facility.
Yes, and she is trying to find uh blah, 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 Ariane. How do you say her last name?
Oh,
Young. Yeong.
Young.
Young. Okay.
Ariana Young.
Yep, Ariana Young. And it starts out with you start walking around and you start finding the other replicants. Some of them are damaged. Some of them are secluded themselves, and you know they don't. They say she might be down in the mines. You have to go look. Eventually, as you
okay. Sorry, it's pronounced as Young. It's literally just Young.
Young. Okay.
Yes, Young.
Okay. Um, as you get further in, you eventually get to your first monster, which is
The
incidentally
diseased replicant.
yeah, which is also a nurse.
Yes.
It looks exactly like the nurses from Silent Hill.
So we should probably explain a little bit. Once the opening is like a cutscene, and then it goes into first person perspective for you to to go to air quotes the facility. Um, and then it switches to an isometric perspective. So you're looking down at Elster walking around. Everything's you can't move the camera aside from except from side to side, if that. And it's very well done on the creepy factor. Like
Yes.
it's extremely well done. It is a combat game, and like it's puzzles and combat. It honestly plays a lot like Resident Evil 1, except better.
Yes,
Well, much better.
1,000 times smoother. On top of it, the graphics they went for are, I would say, a cross between early 3D and uh 32-bit, I believe, would be Super Nintendo.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Well, PlayStation. They kind of went with like PlayStation One
Yeah.
3D graphics,
Early
and
PlayStation and
yeah, so they went with that, and all the characters are animated out the ass. Um, so it's a creepy anime story. That
yes.
was the only thing that detracted, but I hate anime. That's an entirely different
Yeah.
statement.
Like, even though that part was, but it wasn't super horrible about it. You know what I mean? It could have been a
Sure,
lot more tropey.
could have been
But
tentacle monsters there.
yes. And then as you get through the very first like section, after they kind of tutorialize you into everything and get you a feel for the puzzles, you meet the one robot guy. I can't think of his name.
Are you talking about
Adler.
the Adler? Yeah.
Adler. You show him the picture, and then he pushes you down a elevator shaft.
Yeah, there's only like four characters in the game. Like there's Ariana, there's Adler, there's Falk.
Yep. Who's like the main?
Well, Falk is also kind of you, right?
Yeah. Because I'll explain that one.
And you, Elster. Like that's all there really is.
No,
I'm
there's
pretty.
the human girl.
Which human girl?
What is that chick's name? You meet her earlier, and she doesn't trust you because you're a replicant. She was looking for her friends or whoever, and she's all jacked up because the rest of the game, Adler's trying to find her and kill her. Blah, 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 blah. Is this her?
I
Ito.
vaguely Ito.
Issa Ito.
I don't remember Issa Ito.
She was the.
I remember like some chick in a room who's all jacked up. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's her.
Oh.
She's all jacked up, and then she doesn't trust you. She takes off because she's looking for her friends. And then when you start getting towards the mine, Adler's chasing after her because he's trying to kill her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as you explore this facility and you start piecing things together and getting closer, it shows that Adler is becoming more and more unhinged as this goes on. Speaking about how this is not the first time any of this has happened, and he talks very cryptically about a lot of things, and it gives you that, it starts, talking about how you've already been through this.
Well, I mean, you see clear evidence you've already been through this. The pile of Elsters.
Well, that's like midway before.
Yeah, true. I mean, you're like Adler's starting to talk about like, oh yeah, you think he's like crazy, but you also don't know because everything's crazy at the moment.
Yes.
But then there's that kind of definitive moment where you're like, oh, this is actually like almost a time loop story.
Yes. About midway after you get down in the mines and you solve some very annoying puzzles.
All right, I gotta say, some of those puzzles were awful, and I used the guide because some of those puzzles were just terrible.
Thank God, because I felt super bad because there was 2 puzzles I had to use the guide on.
Don't feel bad, honestly. Look. Some puzzles were great. Some puzzles. Which ones did you have issues with?
The stupid bug ones where you go in the room with the safe with all the bugs. You had to find the combination, and it was the bugs. They had the numbers on their wings.
Yeah, that one was annoying.
I couldn't see the numbers until I had to really. They're like, look at the wings, you'll start seeing numbers. I was like, oh, okay. And then I had to redo the safe when you go back through it, the loop again. The very first safe, I had to look up the number for that because I couldn't remember what it was for the very first time.
Okay. I had trouble with the one water one. The little leveling one. That one it was annoying to me.
Oh, no, yeah. Oh, the electric one where you had to get the voltages the same. That was also annoying.
Yes. Yeah. I think those balance ones were terrible.
Yeah, I guessed my way through those.
There were
trial and error.
there's something with like isometric survival horror games where they want to do the puzzles, and some of them they really want you to be engaged with the game. You got to solve this puzzle, but it's just not fun. Like maybe for some people it is, but I'm there for the environment and the storytelling. The puzzle was more of a pain. So another game did that same crime, and that was Stasis.
Okay.
Stasis was a. Have you played Stasis?
No, I have not.
It's very good. I do recommend you do it. The only problem is it gets high on its own supply, and it it makes these esoteric as hell puzzles.
No.
Like that honestly, I looked up the solutions to them and I did the solutions and I still couldn't understand what the puzzle was about. Like
Yeah.
I did, I was like, this is the solution. I don't understand how you were supposed to get it.
Right.
And
Some of the puzzles I did enjoy though in this was
oh, some of them were fun.
the one where you had to go where that little line was squiggling around, and then wherever you turn your radio station to, it would show the combination for each door.
Yeah, that was
That was
cool.
that was clever.
Yes, I like that one a lot. That was really good.
The ring one was also cool, where you put the rings on the statue.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I liked how in depth that one was.
I actually liked. So I saw a lot of people say they had complaints with the combat. I actually thought the combat was fine. Like the boss stuff was weird, but the actual regular combat was fine.
Yeah, I mean, what bosses? There's like what, two bosses, three bosses?
I think there's two, isn't there?
There's the first one is like the giant chick and the giant replicant chick who's a mining specialist,
Yeah.
where she'd get up and throw up blood, and then Falk.
Yeah,
The only two
isn't
I
there
can
only,
remember.
yeah, that's only two. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's only two, but it's just not a game built for boss fights, and
No.
they wanted to put boss fights in, and honestly, they should have made them like puzzle fights or something.
Yeah, like I was okay with the giant robot one. That was fine. That was simple enough. It's just wait for her to wear herself down, and then hit her while her visor's open. The
Yeah.
Falk one, the last one, was a pain.
Yeah, that one.
It didn't make sense to me because at first it's like, oh, I have to stab her with her spear, but how do I get her to? Does she just use up all her spears? No, you have to shoot her enough, and then like she has to use a number of spears, and then sometimes the number change. I'm like,
It's weird.
it's
It's really bad.
inconsistent.
So, like, the flesh mining facility. When you go through the arch in the mine and do that's the second loop
Yes.
when you're getting all the flesh everywhere. I liked that because so I'm gonna fully disclose. I went through that game once and I was like, oh, that was creepy, and I didn't really give much thought to like anything else. I didn't even know there were four endings until you told me, and now I'm like looking at the endings, and I'm like, oh, I kind of get what the game is like. The overarching story of the game is.
Yeah.
I think I get it, but I'm actually curious because I have an idea in my head of what the overarching story
Yeah.
is.
And
I want to know what your
mhm.
idea is about
Yeah.
the overarching story.
I'll definitely get that. So as we said before, there's a time loop. When you finally get to the end, the one robot guy encourages you not to go. You go back to the ship because you were desperate to get there, and then you find other copies of yourself.
So you actually find an archway down in the bottom of the mine,
Yes,
and you cross it, and you are back at the ship.
yes, and
But there's a pile of your own bodies there.
yes, of Esther's, and it's really awesome. And then you desperately try to get back in the ship, and you fail. You lose an arm, and you damage yourself. You fall into the pile of Esther's, where eventually you
You wake back up.
you wake back up. You find another Esther unit, and that's heavily armored, and you take her armor and you rip her arm off and replace your arm with it, which was like, I was like, this is getting a little intense. And you start the loop back all over again, except for now you have the flesh, like you talked about.
Yeah, the loop is corrupted.
Yes,
It's like diseased.
yes. And then what I loved about that game design is once you completed something and you never needed to go back there for any reason, that hallway or door would be blocked with the flesh, which was amazing because it helped you guide you through the rest of the game.
Yeah, it was that was top quality. That was great quality of life.
Yes,
like they did a really good job of it.
It was creepy in a way, so you felt creeped out by it, but then it also gave you I don't need to go back there. Cool.
Yeah, it both was quality of life, and it also felt like something was controlling your fate. Like you couldn't just explore anymore.
Yes. So after you go through the loop again, you hit a crucial part where you start to head back to your ship again. You're in the archway. This time you find Adler with you again, but now he's heavily mutated. He's missing his face. And he's been corrupted as well. And he goes to stop you.
You're talking about after the Falk fight.
Was it after the Falk fight?
So when you go through the flesh stuff, you go to that weird ass moon. You go to Rotfront.
Yes.
Yeah, and you see like some of the stuff that had occurred in the past.
Yes.
And then you fight Falk, and then you return to the threshold, and that's where Super Mutant Adler is.
Yes, and he tries to kill you. What happens with Falk is she is also a replicant who finds your body and Irene's body, and she takes your guys' memories into herself.
What the hell's Irene? You mean Ariane?
Ariana. Sorry.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Ariana. She takes your guys' memories into herself because that's like her power thing, because she's like a unit that can like link with other units. And when she does that, it starts to corrupt her.
Yeah.
And that's why everything in the mining facility got all corrupted, because she has a link to everything else.
Well, if you read, like I said, I've been deep diving into this. There is a note that Ariana has a disease.
Yes.
She has the replica like mental disease that they never actually name. So that's how what's her name gets infected, and you're probably infected too. So I have, like I said, I have a theory about what actually happened.
Yep.
You're right. Yeah. So Falk gets corrupted by probably what was the disease, but in the end, it's your memory, which is also Ariana's memory, and it causes her to freak out, and she's all corrupt, and you kill her. You go back to the threshold, and Super Mutant Adler wants to stop you because doesn't he think like reality is going to shatter?
If we keep restarting it over and over, eventually reality is going to completely shatter.
Yes, and then there's a battle. You are mortally wounded, and Adler gets killed.
Yeah.
And then you go back to the Penrose, and you find... Well, keep going. Go ahead.
Yeah, you break in. When you find the Penrose, you break in. And as you're going in, you start getting loops of more details on what happened to you and Ariana. And you guys were sent out as a mission to find other inhabitable planets for humans to be able to terraform and live on. And after you hit a certain amount of cycles, the company starts messaging you saying, congratulations, but we're not going to be sending you supplies. You're on your own. You're going to die. So don't try to keep yourselves alive. Just die with dignity. Close your eyes, go to sleep. Don't worry about it. Don't try to save yourself. Just thanks for trying. And I was like, oh, so that sucks. And then you read the report about Elster units and how they operate. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, well, they were in love, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah, like, yes. So and then the promise that's been kind of like mentioned throughout the game is to kill Ariana.
Yes. To kill her so she doesn't suffer.
Yes. Now, the ending I got, apparently the ending is called Memory. Elster, so Ariana wakes up, but she doesn't have any memory. Like, it's just gone. So Elster can't kill her, and then Ariana just slowly dies.
Yep, and then Elster also dies.
Yes, correct. I'm reading these four other endings.
Yes, they're
So
awesome.
it's pretty wild that it's how you play the game controls
Yes.
the ending.
Hmm.
So okay, leave ending. Elster cannot work up the courage to see Ariana again and carry out their promise, instead leaving the ship to succumb to her wounds in the wasteland outside. So she just like leaves.
Yeah, she just abandoned ship.
Oh,
She
is there
can't.
any?
She can't do it.
Okay, promise. Uh, Elster awakens Ariana, who remembers her and asks her to keep her promise. Elster reluctantly follows through, killing Ariana before succumbing to her own wounds.
Yes.
So that to me seems like that one seems almost like the regular ending.
That's
Like,
that's the good ending.
yeah, that's the ending. Good ending, air quotes. That's the ending that satisfies the request at the very beginning of the game.
Yes.
And there's a secret ending, artifact. Now, granted, all these endings were secret from me. I had no idea. So, but there's an actual secret one, artifact. Acquire 3 hidden keys throughout the game, but only on a second playthrough of the game. That's pretty meta. It's talking about that time loop right there.
Hmm.
That unlocks Ariana's safe, which yields a vase of white lilies. Elster performs an esoteric ritual that results in her apparent death. A memory of her and Ariana dancing can then be seen inside the wreckage of the Penrose 512. Can you explain that one?
All right. So, uh, which part of it would you like me to explain?
All of it. Just
Okay.
all of it above.
So, it's a very similar ending to like the dog missions in Silent Hill, when you could unlock the extra endings.
Yeah.
This one is a symbolization that Elster accepts the loop, and instead of keeping her promise, she just constantly relives the loop over and over again and puts all her faith into the loop. So that's why she does the ritual, to enforce it, to keep it going, so she can always be with Ariana.
Okay.
And them dancing together is just Elster living out what she wants, not
Okay.
worrying about her promise, not worrying about that Ariana wants to die. She just cannot let go of her because of her own corruption. So she just constantly relives that loop and loop it over again so she can be happy.
All right. I guess that's fair. That's from the reading of this, I thought of a much different concept there. But that's just because I have a strong opinion about what this how this game's story actually functions. There is no true answer, so I just have an opinion about it.
Yeah,
So
that's also what I like about this. Just like Silent Hill, every
yeah,
like there's no definitive to it.
yeah.
It gives you a guideline, and it's up to you as what you take away from it, and that's what I love about this game.
So my opinion, after reading all the lore here, like I said, I beat it once. I didn't think about it too much, but after reading the lore and thinking about the game, what I think actually happened was they don't really talk about I don't think they talk about the Penrose too much in the actual like game at all.
No.
They just talk about it being some kind of like project. But there's a huge theme of memory that goes through pretty much the entire game, like corrupted memory or memories spilling over into other things or bad memories or memories replaying that fits in with the time loop. I honestly am not sure that the events of the game are physical. I think they may be a metaphorical, almost like psychic death echo. Like I'm not really sure that Elster and Ariana leave the ship at any point in time in reality. What I think happened is Ariana is so there's a lore reference mentioning that crazed replicants. Okay, the Dream Diary. I was a worker in the mines of Lang. When I was consumed by a shapeless mass of flesh, my mind joined the collective of flesh, which persists beyond death. I saw a burning eye in the sky above the cloud of Buyan. Burning eye. Ariana has red eyes.
Yes.
That's that is like a huge thing. It's in her medical report. It's in everything. Ariana has bright red eyes,
Yep.
and
Which is a symptom of that disease that we were talking about.
yeah. Um. So it's pretty wild to me that those people just happen to think about none of the other like infected people have red eyes. Did they all have red
Yes,
eyes?
they all start to get red. It's in the disease stuff. They
Okay.
all start to develop a red um, iris, but
So yeah, Ariana had bioresonance.
yes,
So I'm kind
which
of
also
trying.
gives her partial telepathy and telekinesis.
Yeah. So what if? So exploring space is hard. Okay. You can't
Yes.
just strap a rocket to somebody and fire off. Granted, they have cryogenic chambers, but even that would be too slow. The Penrose tells me that that ship probably has a weird power that lets it travel places. And my theory is she's bioresonant. She has this disease that the Penrose engine triggers, and it starts this kind of time loop. There's an interaction with her travel and the disease causing this. I don't think that time loop is a physical manifestation. I think that's a mental manifestation.
I will agree with you there because they as far as I know, since I played it a lot more recently than you have, I remember them making reference to her disease, and then her powers, and then them being on the planet. Like she resonated or something with the planet, and all hell broke loose.
So the one thing I saw in here is there's a medical base of all gestalts in like the game, but you don't see any of the gestalts, but it's put down that um like Nikolai Wynn was Adler. I don't know who KLBR was. Who the hell was KLBR? But like some of these people were real people that I think maybe Ariana would have known, because
Yes,
Ariana is also in that medical database.
yes, because and you and I was gonna point out something too is earlier in the game you have a flashback where you see Ariana getting picked on by other girls,
Yeah,
and you find out that they also shot her into space because she wasn't fitting into society. She was about art. She was about everyone else is like
yeah,
like a robot. Everyone else is pretty much like a robot. They do their program. They make their money. They're very programmed. Humanity is very programmed in this world.
yeah. And it mentions that Elster is in everyone's memory of being at the Sierpinski mining facility, but she is not in any lists that say she was supposed to be there.
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy.
So I really think that this is a case where the naming the ship the Penrose is like, if you wanted to name a ship after traveling through the stars, call it the Clark or something like that. If you want to name a ship about weird physics stuff, name it the Penrose.
Yes, you're right. And that's what I love this game because it's creating such discussions after we play it.
It's a good game, and I don't even like isometric survival horror games. I liked that game. It was enjoyable. It was atmospheric. It was so weird, and I love weird games. I honestly just thought that that was the ending. I didn't realize there were more, and that kind of makes, I'm probably just gonna watch like the other endings
Yeah, go for
now,
it.
but it was a very good game, and it was made, wasn't it made by like two people or something?
Yeah, it was made literally by two, maybe three people.
Yeah, that's awesome. Development. Two-person German studio. Of course, it was the Germans. They love their anime.
Yes, because I was gonna say it was definitely German because a lot of the stuff is in German.
Yes, yeah, it is. A lot of the stuff is in German.
Um, what else did I was gonna say about this? It there's only
The thing
one thing I had an
okay,
issue with this in this entire game. Like other
the
than the
puzzles.
puzzles, no.
Okay.
The biggest glaring flaw in the whole game that bothered me, the inventory system.
Oh, I thought that was intentional.
It
Like I thought that was supposed to be intentionally like that.
I mean,
It's
I think it was. It might have been, but it was still a pain in the butt.
oh yeah, it's not fun. The inventory system is bad. Like it's very bad. But I really thought that was kind of like they were paying homage to that era of terrible systems.
Which they
Because
may have. They very may have. But I just felt it was really rough.
yeah, there are better ways to pay homage. If you wanted to pay homage to that, there are better ways to do that than the system that they landed on. On the other hand, for two people, that's great. Apparently, development began in 2014. Holy crap!
Yeah, they've been working on this. And you know
Jeez.
what? If they put out a Kickstarter and say, "Hey, we're doing another Signalis game,"
So I don't. I would like to see them do something else. I think the story is done. Insofar that I think if they did another Signalis and it had anything to do with the first Signalis, it would kind of spoil the first Signalis.
yes, I was hoping, since they very much took a lot of influence from Silent Hill, that it would be just like the other Silent Hill games. They all kind of have something to do with each other, but they're not directly correlated by any matters.
Okay, I mean,
Like,
yeah, I can see that.
Where
That'd be cool.
where it'd be like, hey, something else is happening here for a whole different reason.
Yeah, the two developers were Yuri Stern and Barbara Whitman. They did a great job. Kudos to Yuri and Barbara.
Absolutely, they can have my money anytime.
It was a great game. I played it on Game Pass. I highly recommend anybody play it anywhere they can. It is a tiny gem.
Yes,
It's not super long either. It's nice.
I think I dumped 8-9 hours into it.
Okay, I definitely didn't play it that long, but I think mine was more like 5.
I'll have to recheck, but
Granted, when I got frustrated at the first the one of the puzzles that frustrated me, I just started using a guide from then on, and I was like, okay.
I did not. I only used a guide for like that specific part, and then went right back to.
See, that's my secret, Kyle.
You're always
Secret.
using guides.
I am a guide.
So,
yeah, very good game. Highly recommend it.
absolutely, it was a super joy to play.
It was a spooky game to play around Halloween too.
Oh yeah, it made me jump a couple times.
It's on every platform. It's on Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC. I think it's on PlayStation. It's on PlayStation 5, and I mean, if it's on Xbox One, it's on Xbox One. One or X Series X. Oh my gosh, I keep screwing that name up because it's a terrible name.
Yes.
But yes, please purchase that game.
Yes.
Small indie developers need your money, and large mega developers don't.
Not. They need to take a back seat for a little while.
They do. Speaking of large mega games, did you want me to talk about anything else, Kyle?
Yes. You borrowed from me and recently beat Hogwarts Legacy.
As someone who generally is ignorant about Harry Potter, I did play it. I was curious to see how it played, and I gotta say, I liked everything but the main story. I gotta say, I thought the main story was kind of
generic.
Like it was pretty generic. It didn't really make me interested in any way, shape, or form. I was like, look, a bad guy. Look, another bad guy. Oh no, they're doing bad things. Oh no, somebody I met 2 quests ago just died.
Yep.
Like it was generic. I haven't really. I don't know if I think I saw all the Harry Potter movies, but I don't really remember them well. I definitely didn't read all the books. I don't really have any attachment to Harry Potter. When the beginning of the game asked me to pick a house, I was like, I don't know what this is, and I'm scared. And I was like, I'll pick the silliest one, and the silliest one is Hufflepuff. I don't know what Hufflepuff is, but it's a dumb name, so I picked it.
It's the person who one of the people that created Hogwarts.
You know, you can tell me
her name was Hufflepuff. That's why.
Oh, sure, I'll go along with that.
Yes.
And I'm sure somebody else's name was Ravenclaw.
Yep.
And somebody else's name was Gryffindor.
Yep.
And
Godric Gryffindor.
Well, in the game they tell you about what's his name?
Salazar Slytherin.
Yeah. Okay.
Godric Gryffindor. Rowena Ravenclaw.
Wait, they're all alliterative?
No. Oh yeah. Helga Hufflepuff, I believe.
Yeah, they're all alliterative.
I believe so. Hold on.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna look.
Boy, that's just so coincidental. Also, I gotta say, the house elves really creep me out insofar in that it's implied slavery.
Yes.
I mean, it's not even implied; it's slavery.
Yeah, 100% without question.
Like,
Yes,
As
they're all alliterations.
All right. As soon as like Professor Weasley was talking about like her house help out was helping you out, like just the dynamic there made me very uncomfortable, like deeply uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I was like, this feels bad, but I'm sure 99% of people aren't going to be concerned about this at all. But it just feels really bad.
Yeah,
It's gross.
yes.
It's very gross. Um, I the game like the open world was quaint and cute and all that stuff. And the side quests were pretty good. I wish there were better things to spend your coins on. Like you kind of run out of stuff to spend your coins on.
Yeah, crappy outfits. And then
Yeah,
you
and
sell all your other ones.
I did not like the loot system very much.
Um
Uh,
so,
why would you engage with half of it? Really? Unless you're playing on like ultra mega hard?
yeah. Oh, and this has the same problem that I have with Signalis.
Inventory system sucks.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, like so there's Trials of Merlin to increase your inventory. Half the time, I like walk up, I throw why is there a limited resource to use the Trials of Merlin? Yeah, I can grow it. Why is that loop even there? What does it add to the game? It should not be present.
Gameplay time.
That's it. It's just a waste of time. So hey, you activate the Trials of Merlin. Like some of them are real easy. Like hey, look, there's bugs over there. Bring them over here.
Exactly.
One of them I activated, and I looked around and nothing changed. And I was like, what? What am I supposed to do?
You're supposed
here?
to find that ball and put it in a dish somewhere.
Was it the large ball behind the house?
Yep.
Was that it?
Yep,
Okay,
I
saw
dish.
that.
You have to find the dish where it goes in and you put it in.
All right, that one just annoyed me. I like saw the ball and I'm like, you know what? I am just gonna finish the main story.
Yeah, I'm over this.
Yeah, I was like, I'm good. I'm good. Hogwarts itself, having no actual Harry Potter fanship, was a really cool, well-developed area.
Yes, that's where the game comes alive.
Yeah, the overall map, like I said, is cutesy and quaint, but it's just like not alive,
No.
really. Like
all the
I was
life
fighting,
was put into Hogwarts.
I was fighting some like spiders on the road, and some wizard just walked right through the middle of the battle. Like he like hello, and just like walked right through. Out here I am killing these giant spiders. I'm pretty sure they never programmed the AI for the travelers to even acknowledge if you were in combat.
Nope.
It was weird and dumb. But Hogwarts itself very much felt alive. Students everywhere, like all these conversations going off, all the weird ass ghosts showing up. Peeves looks like the Hogwarts equivalent of John Wayne Gacy. I have to say. So he made it kind of awkward, especially being around all those kids. I'm pretty sure in the modern day he'd have not be able to live within 60 feet of Hogwarts.
But he's cursed to live there.
Yeah, that'd be extra weird.
So,
also, I have a philosophical question for you.
okay.
All those portraits of those long deceased wizards, are they alive? Is that their souls?
Kind of. It is
like,
kind of that
kind
way.
of.
It no.
Are they?
And how it works is they are alive in a sense.
What do you mean in a sense? Are they alive or not?
They're like projections of current memories of whenever the painting was made.
So they're not alive. They are actually just simulacrum.
Yes, I say more simulacrums, but they
the word is simulacrum.
Yeah, but they're alive too because they have their own memories and stuff eventually, and they
but
interact.
I mean, all right, well that's a philosophical question. If you scan my brain and build an AI off my brain, like a real AI, not one of those pretend ones like ChatGPT, like, and it just starts talking to you, is it alive?
That's a good
Kyle,
question.
is it alive? My
mean,
answer is no, it's not.
I mean, it depends what you define as alive, because if it's become its own thing and become sentient, I believe it's a form of life.
So there's a lot of fundamental questions. Is if you can fractionate your mind infinitely, what does life even mean if you consider those things alive? What does alive mean? Is there a biological process behind it or not? I would fundamentally argue that those paintings are not alive. They are just functionally very advanced magical chat GPTs.
Okay.
That will make they are animate decision trees that will act as though they were the person, but they're not actually the person because they do not possess whatever finite quality defines life. That's my theory, but I was also wondering if they just like made a portrait dimension and shoved their bodies into the portrait dimension. Because
Yeah.
like half of the things in Hogwarts are like, there's a dimension here. Oh, there's a door over here. There's a room that just exists when you need it.
Yeah,
Like
that's the Wizarding World for you. Good old magic.
like, well, exactly. How do wizards even die? Like I assume there's immortality
Um,
somewhere.
there is immortality. There is a guy who created the Philosopher's Stone,
Oh, okay.
and he uses it to keep himself alive. And he was like 600 and some odd years old.
Oh,
He was the
see,
only.
I would have thought, what? How did spells get made?
How do spells get made?
Exactly. Because
That's
can't you just like make a spell that's like Livis Longevus?
that is a excellent question. I don't believe that's how it works.
You got to tell me though that some wizards cast Curus Cancerous.
Right? Like,
It just does not make sense. They seem to only have basic elemental interactions and some mental interactions, but it seems to be conveniently limited to things that wouldn't cause massive social upheaval.
yes, I will go with that. That is the best way to put it in my.
Like, it's just weird. It's just a very weird thing. I don't get Harry Potter, but I enjoyed the aesthetic and the feeling that was generated by like Hogwarts itself and the world. But I still do not understand Harry Potter. Like half the names are just freaking weird, and I don't know. Every time like somebody mentions like some weird ass name, I'm like, am I supposed to take this seriously?
Yeah, am I supposed to know who this is?
So, A, am I supposed to know who this is? And B, what parent would name their child that?
It's a wizard name.
No, no, I don't want to hear that. I
Andrew,
don't want
that's
to.
how it works. The wizard name.
I don't want to hear that.
Well, I'm glad you don't want to hear it, but that's how it works in that universe.
That's do they have what is it? Muggle? Like that's the non magic people. A, that
Yes,
sounds like a slur. First off,
it is a
and B,
slur.
well, okay, that's even worse. But B, like, do they have like a normal human name and a wizard name?
No, that's what's crazy about it. Like, if they're given like a wizarding name, um, it's funny because then there's like muggles in the world who hear these people's weird ass wizard names, and they're like, "That's weird."
Well, exactly. There's not a single wizard whose name is like Joe Smith.
No,
Like, there's
the only ones that are like Ron Weasley, Seamus Finnegan, and a couple others.
I guess
Like
that's fair.
like it's weird because normal names are not that weird in the Wizarding world, but vice versa. Like it's very
Right?
it's
Yeah. Also, everybody seems to have thematic names and something like Professor Garlic for like the botany lady.
yeah.
It's a
I
very
mean, the
convenient
other
name.
botany lady in the movie is Professor Sprout. So if we want to,
That's even worse. That's terrible. That's awful.
I mean, we have Professor Snape. You know, he's like one of the heads of
Oh
Slytherin,
yeah, yeah. He's okay. Yeah,
and his whole
he's the
thing is
bad guy.
he's not well,
He
yeah,
killed Dumbledore.
yeah,
I still remember the day that book came out, and somebody like came, I was actually in our local game store, Kyle,
yeah,
playing some card game, and some guy came in. And he was like, "Hey, the new Harry Potter came out, and guess what? Snape killed Dumbledore."
yes.
And I was like, "Cool, nerd."
Whatever,
Like,
nerd. Um, I don't know how much you actually even ever going to look into the Harry Potter universe,
not much,
if at
probably.
all, ever.
Yeah. Also, what the hell is butterbeer?
It's beer made out of butter.
Is it alcoholic?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, I know in England they can serve like there's not a minimum
16.
age or anything.
It's like
Yeah, it's
16.
okay. Is it 16? Okay. Well, that still raises questions, but like is it actually alcoholic or is it like root beer?
I think it's more like root beer.
Okay, and is it just root beer made out of butter? Like I don't get the dynamics here. I
I,
assume it's just like diabetes in a mug.
yes, and there's people who actually made the real recipe for it, and it seems like diabetes in a mug.
Oh, the real recipe.
Yes, like you can actually make it in real life, and it just seems
Oh,
like you
how many spells do you have to cast for that?
right. But it does seem like diabetes in a
Yeah, right. Like I
in a
can't.
mug.
I'm trying to imagine what the base actually is, and I just keep coming back to probably butter
Butter,
and some kind
sugar,
of
and more
soda.
sugar. Yeah, butter,
Yeah,
sugar, and more sugar.
yeah.
Um,
All
but
right, we got 5 minutes left. Is there anything else you wanted me to talk about?
anything you've seen in the gaming news that you found interesting?
Ooh, in the gaming news. Oh
Yes.
my gosh. That I found interesting.
Or looking
Well,
forward to. They announced that there's
so
going to be Pokemon DLC.
okay, cool. I am very neutral about that in general now
Have
these days.
Have you even played the Scarlet and Violet?
Do you catch Pokemon?
Yeah.
Then I have in some way played Scarlet and Violet.
I don't know if you beat it or not, or what you've done with it.
No, I've actually never played Scarlet and Violet. You kept telling me it was horrible, so I never played it.
Good.
They announced. So, did you ever play Titan? You're not a big action RPG fan, but did you ever play Titan Quest back in the day?
No, I never got to play Titan Quest.
Okay, they announced a sequel to Titan Quest. It's actually called Titan Quest 2,
Okay.
right? And it's by a studio that I have absolutely no faith is going to pull off Titan Quest. Titan Quest back in the day was awesome. I have no faith this new studio is going to do it, but I am jazzed nonetheless because ancient Greek action RPG is my jam. I like that a lot. So I'm excited for this. The Steam page just went up. It's TBD. They don't have a release date. I think it's 2024.
Okay.
But I am excited for that. As someone who enjoys action RPGs, but not to an incredible extent. I'm looking at you, Diablo 4.
Hmm.
But I am excited for that game because I really enjoyed Titan Quest. Other news that caught my eye: Nicki Minaj is coming to Call of Duty Warzone.
Yeah.
Kyle, we're gonna have to play some Warzone.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to be some bad Barbies.
Yeah, right. Something I was thinking of. Uh, there was a mediocre showing of Final Fantasy 16.
Oh yeah, it didn't sell very well, did it?
Uh, it sold okay, but no one's really speaking about it.
I've seen a couple people that played it that said it was generally good as long as you were looking for a linear Final Fantasy. It's not open world. It's very a very linear game. And I've heard it's pretty good if you're going into that. The only problem I have heard is that story is really long. It's like 40 hours long, and at about hour 30 it starts getting bad. Like the end is very undeserved and bad. I don't know what the ending is. That's just what I've heard, but I've heard the beginning is very good.
Okay.
I was gonna pick it up whenever it drops in price because I'm not paying $70 for that.
They
Are you kidding?
announced Super Mario RPG, a remake.
I saw that. I am so excited for that.
I never got to play it. I have an emulator and I never played it.
I played the fuck out of that game on my Super Nintendo back in the day. That was my jam. Like I played that game a lot as a child,
So I guess I'll
and
be playing it.
I'm gonna play it.
Yeah.
Is there a release date for that?
November
All right.
17th.
Well, I'm gonna be shelling out a ton of money in November.
Right. But Alan Wake 2 is coming in
Oh
October.
hell yeah! Oh hell yeah! That's a day one for me.
Yeah,
That's no delay.
I'm gonna be a sad day one for me
What's it gonna be a sad day
because
one?
it's not physical.
Oh yeah, it's DLC. It's download only.
Yeah,
That's true. But on the other hand, it's Alan Wake 2.
that is true.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, Kyle.
Sea of Stars is one I was gonna tell you to pick up. Everyone's
It's coming to Game Pass for free.
Yes.
Or well, free air quote. If you
Yeah,
have
quote.
Game Pass.
I don't.
I actually have it pre-installed already. It comes out what, September? End of August?
August 29th for everything but Steam. It's on Steam right now. I think it's something I'm gonna pick up.
Well, I have it preloaded already on Game Pass. So I looked at it and I'm like, this looks interesting. I'll give it a try. It's on Game Pass. It's not costing me anything.
Right.
So I'll give it a try.
Yep.
I'll try it out.
So I think that's pretty much it, and we're gonna call it a show. And hopefully you can come on again. We'll talk about something else we played. Probably.
All right.
Probably whatever the next big thing is, which will probably be Sea of Stars.
I don't know. I got a lot of other games I can talk about too. By a lot, I
Yes.
mean two. I got two other games I can talk about.
Yeah,
But
I don't want to hear about
before
Diablo.
before we head out, did you like Battlefield back in the day, like Battlefield 3?
Yes.
All right, check out BattleBit Remastered.
Oh God.
I did pick it up. It's very fun. I
Is
will
it?
tell you. The
Okay.
voice chat is very hit or miss if you're gonna get called slurs or not, though. I will tell you.
Well, yeah, it's a goddamn Call of Duty s game.
Oh, it's not even that. It's VoIP on, like proximity VoIP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's a very fun game. It's like $15, I think,
Okay.
or something like that. It's
I'll
pretty cheap.
I'll put it on my
It's
list.
I would put it on your list. Who knows? Who knows what holidays could be coming up
Yeah, right.
that could provide you games.
Right. So
But
we're gonna call that a show. Thanks for coming back on and talking Signalis with me. I was excited to play it, and then when you told me it was so good, and I played it, and then you said you'd talk about it, I got excited.
I'm sorry it took me so long.
Hey, life
Busy
happens.
person. That's very, very accurate.
All right.
All right. Good talking to you.
Yep. Have a good night.
You too.